Hello, it's Mike with Airstream Authority, and it's been a while since I've done any videos. It's been a busy summer. I'm very grateful for that. But we're headed into what is notoriously and historically the slow part of the year for us. People aren't looking to get out and camp quite as much as they are in the springtime and through the summer. And of course, boating becomes a different beast as the weather gets cooler. So that being said, I want to talk about a couple of things today. Going to touch on a few topics. First topic is the election. I don't know what's going to happen. We all have a dog in that fight, so to speak, and there's some uneasiness there. So that being said, it doesn't really matter which side of the aisle you are on. But what does matter is that we're a resilient nation. We have been told before that this is the election that matters the most, and next year, the next term is going to define whether we make it as a nation. Well, we've heard that for 20, 30, 40 years now, and so I just believe it's going to be status quo, that regardless of who we find in charge, that we're going to survive and we're going to do all right. Things may be a little tougher for a couple of years. Same things may be a little better for a couple of years, but we're going to survive. We're going to do just fine. So moving on from that, one of the big questions I get, and many salespeople get, I have friends in the car sales business, and obviously I know people in real estate, and the question we always get is, when is the best time of year to buy? Is it at the spring shows, at the end of winter and beginning of spring, or is it at the end of the year, the actual year, closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, or in the summer when everybody's going camping? Well, it can always be a good time to buy. It really can. And it really depends on you, and if you're working with a good salesperson, also if you're working with a good dealership that is eager to have your business. It's a very, very competitive marketplace right now. The last 18 months or so have been really tough on the industry. Nobody knew when to slow down the production that COVID helped ramp up, because people had to camp or vacation in ways that they had never done before. A lot of people found out after they bought their camper that they weren't really campers, or when they bought their boat that they're not really boaters. And so they wanted to go back to the cruises and resorts and this, that, and the other that they'd done before, because that's what they enjoy, and that's fine. But what that did was that flooded the marketplace with a lot of barely used campers last year. And so this dealership, like many others, most every other around the nation, has some a little bit older inventory. We got a handful of 23s left, and a whole bunch of 24s, and the 25s are coming out. So that being said, it can always be a good time, and right now is actually a really good time, because the marketplace itself is so competitive, looking for buyers of new campers, looking for those recently traded in ones or consigned ones that are at the right price, that barely had anybody use them over the last year and a half. So there's always a deal to be found, but you've got to find somebody who's willing to work with you, willing to open up about where the industry and the store and the city is, and the area that you live in, and work through those issues and try and figure out what's right for you. They should be asking a lot of questions, listening even more, and gathering information from you so that they can truly help you through that. So, touch on kind of the economic end of it for just a moment here. As an example, we have some boats right now that are 2023s. We have them marked down 30, 40, almost 50%. Some of the 2023s. 50% means that the dealership is losing some money on it. but they're already losing money on it because it's sitting here and we're paying inventory costs. So they're very, very anxious to not lose money twice, so to speak. So what's happened is they're trying to stop the bleeding, and they've marked the prices down. To move to kind of segue into something that's related to that is when the market is where it is right now, when the interest rates are on the high side. Traditionally, depreciating assets like campers, cars, they're at their lowest price when the interest rates are at their highest end. Now that's you can take that as good news or bad news, because these can be expensive purchases. The bad news is that the interest rate is high. The good news is the interest rate can be changed a little bit later. When the market straightens up there, what's going to happen? Well, the interest rates are going to go down, but the prices are going to go up, because there's going to be a lot more new product in the marketplace. You can always renegotiate what you have for an interest rate down the road, but you can't renegotiate the principal that you're going to have to pay off eventually. So now is really the time from that aspect to try and get your best deal, and then whatever happens with the interest rates, if they sweeten up for us a little bit, then great. We can work through that, and you can talk to your banker and work through a better financing deal than what you got initially. And if it doesn't straighten up, then you know that you got the best deal on the price, and we'll just wait a little bit longer for you to score that better interest rate. And then lastly, so interest rates. So people are talking about, they may be going down for us, and that's fine. We have seen, if I think about the interest rates that some of many of our customers here have seen over, say, the past 14, 16, 18 months. Well, give you an example, not a specific customer, but an example of how we have done business. So about 10 to 12 months ago, we would have been quoting, not knowing much about your credit. Hey, is your credit strong? Yeah, I feel pretty confident on it. Then we would have been quoting a 9.9 to a 10.9 rate in hopes of getting you a rate better than that as we work through the process, knowing that if you were honest with us about your credit situation, that we're probably going to get a little bit below that, which is kind of a standard practice, is just to kind of overestimate, and that way we can bring some good news to you if you've been honest with us and there isn't anything surprising in your credit file. And then from there, over the last several months, we have slowly eased downward on that quoted estimated interest rate. We have moved from 10.9 and 9.9 down to 8.25, 8.5. That's a pretty big move. And we have seen some interest rates as low as 7.5. Well, that was unheard of a year ago, and 18 months ago it was even worse. So the lenders already know what's about to happen, and they're hungry for business. So you're going to see interest rates move down a little bit, but they've already made a pretty sizable move from where they were. So anyway, I'd love for you to reach out to me if you have any questions about the industry or about your particular situation, want to buy. If you want to work through kind of a credit end of it first, we can do that. But I'd really just like to sit down with y'all and talk about what you want out of a camper and how we can make it as easy as possible for you to get into that and start making those memories. Anyway, I'm Mike with Airstream Authority. Love to see y'all in the store. My number will be in the notes, and please reach out to me, and have a great afternoon, and y'all be safe.